All right, Ambush. Today I am very excited to be diving behind a debut single with a brand new rock band. And if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of some classic metal and a whole lot of that 90s, that 2000s rock sound. And this band, they're melding all of that together. And I'm very excited because it sounds fantastic. Today we are diving behind 90 Foot Stone with Austin Cole. How's it going today, Austin?
Fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm very excited to have you. Like I said, I am loving the sound on this new single here, Out of My Head. But of course, I would love to lay a little bit of a foundation for the listener before we jump straight into the actual single itself, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
All right. So, of course, from doing a little bit of my research here, you were actually taking some time to pursue a different love, the love of the outdoors over the last couple of years. But while doing so, you were also taking the time to write. So after 6 years of writing and honing your craft and preparing, what was the decision that finally it was time to pursue and actually create and release this music out into the world?
Well, the whole process sort of started when I met my producer, Brian Moncarz, and I went to him with no expectations. I had some ideas, some stuff that I thought was good enough to bring to him, and he was excited about it. We both sort of went back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other, and we just sort of started to actually track this stuff and make it happen. He started to bring in some awesome musicians. He got Duncan and Jason from Our Lady Peace. Taylor from Bleeker came on a little later on. And like I said, there was no expectation for anything. We just wanted to make stuff that sounded good. And it got to a point where we were all like, this sounds really, really cool. We should probably release it. It's too good to sit on it and not do anything. So the whole thing's been an evolution. There was no expectation. There was no plan for how this was going to go. It was just having fun, making music, and then deciding, hey, this is really good. Let's put it out there and see what happens.
Okay, so you were just sort of putting it all together, making sure that everything was good, and then suddenly you had this track that you were just so proud of that, you know what, we need to do something with this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it.
Okay. So before I jump into the talented roster of musicians that helped you to bring this song to life, you mentioned the talented Brian Moncarz. So what exactly did Brian add to this track? What did he lessons maybe did you learn from him?
Brian, in a way, is responsible for a lot of this, not just in production, but he's quarterbacked this project. He's the one who brought in the musicians and had this vision of what 90 Foot Stone is now. And he was, every decision really was on his back. And I wasn't going to say no based on his suggestions. Hey, do you want Duncan and Jason from OLP? I was like, of course. I'm not going to say no to that. So I have learned a ton from Brian. We've been working together for a few years now. And not just on this song, but all of them. I mean, he's really developed my craft as a songwriter, and it's been a huge learning experience for me. Everything I do now, I owe to him.
Okay, so he not only helped you with making sure that everything sounded good, he also brought in the talent too. And like you mentioned, why would you say no to having members of Our Lady Peace, of Bleeker, of the Trews when you're making a rock project? Because these are bands who helped to create so much of Canada's rock history.
Yeah, absolutely. And this song in particular too, I mean, Brian actually co-wrote some of the stuff on here. There's a keyboard line in there that was him. So he's really involved in the project more than just the production level. And it's just been a lot of fun working together and doing all this with everybody.
Okay, so when exactly did you get to record this track, and what was the process like? Did you actually get to go inside the studio with Brian and some of these musicians? Was it a lot of sending files back and forth? What was that like?
So this song in particular was done last winter in the middle of a lockdown out here. So in the past, we had done songs that are currently unreleased, but will be at some point, where we were in studio. Brian and the guys from OLP, we were all together doing it and tracking stuff together. With this song, we had to do it remotely. We didn't really have a choice. The studio that Brian works at was closed, and it just made sense. So it wasn't an issue. We looked at it as an opportunity. We thought it was going to be a fun challenge to be able to do something like that and record everything remotely. I mean, everyone did their part from their home studio. It was different. It wasn't bad. I think I preferred being in studio and having that face-to-face interaction. I think you miss a little bit. There's some small things you don't get when you do it remotely, but it was a fun challenge. And this, like I said, this entire song was done completely remotely. Everyone tracked their own thing from their home studio, sent it to Brian, and he pulled it all together. And it was a lot of back and forth too, because it's different when you're in the studio with someone. They can say, that doesn't work, you need to change that. When you're doing it remotely, it's a lot of sending something, waiting, them getting back to you and say, okay, this needs to change. So it was different, but it was a lot of fun. But this song in particular, I think, is really cool, that how different it is from the others and that it was done remotely. It makes it unique.
It's I love how you mentioned the challenges there of where it does give you that difficulty of not only just waiting for people to respond and maybe say what they think about something, but also if trying to explain things too, right? Because tone is so hard to take within text, and it can be difficult because when you're inside the studio, you can actually like sort of give an idea of, oh, well, what if we make it sound like this rather than this? But it's like to say that over an email is incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a lot of small things. It's a lot of transitions or something like that. There in the past would be like, okay, in 2 seconds, you decide that that's not going to work and you change it. When it's like this, you sort of just accept it, and I think there's a couple things that maybe would have been different if this song was done in the studio. I'm still happy. I think we're all happy with how it turned out. But that, like I said, that's what makes it unique. It is what it is with this song. It was all done separately and it came together.
Awesome. And like I said earlier, I think the song sounds great. So I think even though it was done remotely, I don't think that affected things at all here. So, of course, the track releases in a few days after when we're actually recording this interview. So I have to ask, with it being so soon to the release date of this song, what is the excitement like to finally almost have this debut 90 Foot Stone track out into the world?
It's extremely exciting. We've been, this song came together pretty quick in the last year, but we have others that will be released at some point. We've been working on them for a couple years now, and it's been a long process, and we've never had anything released by this collaboration of artists. And yeah, for me, it's extremely exciting. For the whole time, it's like, we think this sounds good, but is anyone going to like it? Are they going to think it sucks? We don't know. So it's been really cool to make the music, but I think getting to the point of releasing it, it's a new level of excitement for me. I've never had my own music be released before. So this is, probably the most exciting part of the project is getting to this point.
And of course, it's another side of the music business that sometimes people don't necessarily, when they're writing the music, they don't think about those first songs. How do you make sure that they get out into the world, that they have the opportunity to get feedback, to get in front of the listener? So how are you going about sort of making sure that 90 Foot Stone can hit the ground running with this new single here?
Well, I think with this song was created in my mind to capture what 90 Foot Stone is in one song. So we had other songs that we all were happy with, and I think they're really cool songs, and I hope that people enjoy them when they do come out. But I wanted to be able to create one song that really captures the sound of 90 Foot Stone in one song. So that is the inspiration behind this song. That's my whole idea behind the song when I was writing it. I wanted something that's catchy, catches your attention, and keeps you interested the whole time. Sort of something that's straight to the point. It doesn't drag on. It just keeps you interested the whole time. And I think it's going to give us the best chance to put us out there with this song. And like I said, that is the intention, is we want people to know what's to come by listening to this song.
Okay, so choosing this specific song was very deliberate then.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted this song to be our first single and be that. We didn't know how good it was, if it was going to be good or not, until it was done. So the intention ended up becoming, what I wanted it to. But we didn't, you never know until the song is done and you've put the final stamp on it.
You were just putting it out into the universe before then, where it's, oh, it sure would be nice. Oh, hey, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. So, of course, you mentioned that there is going to be more 90-Foot Stone coming down the way here soon as well. More songs already created on here. So what exactly does the future hold? What can you tell us without giving away too much of the magic?
Well, right now it's all steam ahead, just writing more music. So we will have more stuff coming out in the new year. We're going to have another single, we'll have an EP, and then we'll have a part 2. So everything right now, I feel like the last few years has been a process of just finding what the sound is. And now that I have that, we have a good foundation to build on. So I'm trying to just capture the creativity we have rolling right now, and it's going to be just moving forward, writing more music. So there'll be a lot more to come.
Okay, so I have to ask, you don't have to tell, but with the upcoming music too, are we going to see a lot more of the guest features type of format here? Is that sort of how 90-Foot Stone plans to move forward?
It could, yeah. I think we have, the way that it's done, it gives us the opportunity to bring in other artists, and that's really exciting. I think everyone that's on it right now, we're so happy with it, and the music is turning out really well. But we are certainly heavily considering bringing in other people, and I think that's going to be sort of the unique part of 90-Foot Stone, is that you will see a revolving door of musicians.
Ooh, okay. That makes me excited to how the live show will work too. It's makes me very, very interested, but of course the world is still returning to live, so I'm sure that that's something that you will be figuring out down the road here.
Yeah, we still have some time yet to figure that one out.
Well, either way, when it does happen, hopefully I can find myself inside of one of those crowds rocking out here to this new music, specifically this amazing new track Out of My Head. I have had a blast so far chatting today here, Austin. I have one last question, though. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So, of course, we've talked about the growth of building into this song, its creation, finally having it ready to get out into the world, finally getting 90-Foot Stone out into the world. But what I would like to know is, through this process, through this time, how has it helped you, Austin, grow as a person, or what has it taught you about yourself?
I think the whole thing in terms of being a musician is, when I first started this, I didn't really know if I was someone that was made for that. And I think working with the people that I've been able to work with, I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to work with them. I've learned so much about what it takes to be a musician and overall musicianship. And I think working and doing this project has really crafted my skills and what I can do, and has certainly affected who I am as a person. It changes my mindset on my outlook on my future and my life overall.
Sort of allows you to know just what exactly is possible, hey?
Absolutely, that's exactly it.
Hey, well, I am very excited to see what the future brings you as well, and I want to thank you so very much for joining us here today on the Desert Tiger Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.